Hello everyone and welcome to the first round of Season 5 of the Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins Randomizer League. We have a great matchup here tonight between two of the top 6 runners in the league, as the top runner, BeastFrisian, taking on Not Typo, the 6th ranked player. And we certainly have a goodie for you here. Now, the object of Super Mario Land 2 is for our racers to defeat the evil Wario, and to do so, they'll advance through 6 different zones to collect, as the game's title indicates, 6 golden coins by defeating 6 different bosses, and those golden coins will allow access to Wario's castle for the final showdown. Now, what's randomized here in Super Mario Land 2? Practically everything. The levels are shuffled around, the bosses, enemies, and power-ups are randomized, the zone's music changed around, the physics in a couple of different senses. The normal, moon, or space physics are shuffled around, as well as whether or not a zone's level auto-scrolls. And something new here for the most recent version of Super Mario Land 2 Randomizer is the addition of Luigi physics and ice physics, which allows a little bit more treacherous traction for our runners. And also, very notably, and has been a huge factor in a lot of races, this is something that's been pretty well since the beginning, the 7 different zones that have dual exits, those may or may not be swapped. So we shall see how things are going as we get things started off the bat here. And the opening level, oh boy. Well, we've got Macro Zone 3 and enemies to worry about here, and it looks like we have space physics going on. So that means that a little bit of floating action, as you can see from our runners. So that's going to throw off the normal traction as you're used to standard physics here, just being able to run and jump along. But now you can kind of float slowly here. So now hitting the midpoint bell is Beast, as that means should Beast take a death here, that would be the beginning of where the level is, and Typo also hitting the midpoint bell. Ooh, and taking a bit of damage there. The fireball not quite going where Typo wanted to, as Beast now floating on up and just missing that bonefish. The advantage of the space physics there, and Beast is going to get out and head on over to the left, and we'll see what we've got going on for Tree Zone this time around. Tree Zone 1 looks to be the Turtle Secret Zone, and I believe that is the moon physics that he has going on. So taking a couple of intentional bits of damage there to go under those blockades. And now looking for a power-up and opting not to get the carrot. Interesting. Then again, I guess ducking underneath may be a bit of a challenge. And we've got the money bag that adds 50 coins to their total. They can use those to buy and play the chance games that will allow for the possibility of getting some power-ups in a particular area. And Beast able to get one of those power-ups in the form of a fire flower. And now we have our first split zone, and this is Pumpkin Zone 3. So there are 2 different exits. One is going to be high, one's going to be low, and one of them will lead to a secret area here in the tree zone, which is what they do not want. And the other is going to lead up the tree into the latter stages of the board to be able to, well, take on the boss and collect that first golden coin. So Typo, after having a little bit of trouble trying to get through, as yeah, no fire flower nearby there, making it difficult. And oh, Typo not quite able to clear the jump with the moon physics, and is going to opt again here as Beast going for the lower exit. And that is not the correct one, so flight is going to be required. And we saw for a brief second there that was Tree Zone 1 in the Tree Secret Zone. And Beast is opting to skip it and come back. Interesting. So he's going to head on over to the Hippo, which is another split zone level. One exit in this case will take him over to the macro zone, that's the less than ideal one, then the other will take him to space zone. And Typo, after taking another death, is going to opt to skip it as well, and is heading on over to the Hippo also. So Beast now with the bunny ears acquired by the carrot, and Typo about to grab the same. And Slash, the creator of the game, noting in chat that you can make that last jump if you hold up, and not certain if Typo knows that. So now heading into the upper exit is Beast. We'll see if that is the correct and ideal one, and that looks to not be the case, as that's going to send him over to Macro Zone, and quickly going to double back, and, well, taking that power up is going to head back into Tree Zone. And Typo going to do the same and be less than thrilled with the result in just a matter of moments here. We'll see if Typo opts to continue. Oh, he's going to go into Macro Zone. So here in Macro Zone 1, this is the third that our runners have encountered of these 7 split zone levels. So in this case, the space, you can go high or you can go low. It takes a lot of jumping to get up to where the secret exit is, as Beast taking that proverbial high road, and is now going to go to the correct location and head on up the tree, heading on over to Tree Zone 3, which this time around is Macro Zone 2. And I'm going to lose my power up, do a soft reset, and head on over to the other option, which in this case is Tree Secret 1. A little bit easier by comparison. And now, having reacquired the bunny ears, the majority of the board able to just be floated over by Beast, as Typo taking some damage thanks to that planet that's there, and now Typo is going for that upper road. So we will see if the secret exit is ideal, or if it would be better to go south and take the standard exit. Beast, meanwhile, heading through and is on to the first boss level. Normally Tree Zone 5, and this time around we have Space Zone 2 with the standard space physics, and it looks like that was ideal in this case. So now a quick sprint through Pumpkin Secret Zone 1. And just like that, is on his way to his first boss. So the Macro Zone boss level is going to be the turtle level inside the whale. Meanwhile, Beast handling the auto-scrolling zone of Space Zone 2, and this is one of the longer ones in the game. It's something you have to deal with in vanilla. And usually you get the Star Song along with it, so that at least makes it a little bit easier. And Beast opting not to get the Fire Flower there, and hanging on to the bunny ears. A rather interesting choice, as the majority of the bosses are able to be taken out by a fireball in rapid succession. As Typo now getting to the first boss, which is going to be Tatanga, the boss of the Space Zone. And Slash noting that Typo does not like the Star Song. And just like that, there are the fire power. There's the fire power taking out Tatanga. And Typo is going to be first on the board with a coin here at 7 minutes and 49 seconds. So what initially looked like Typo falling behind, kind of making lemonade out of lemons, and gets through the Macro Zone and is now going to double back and head on into Tree Zone. And our restreamer and tracker Wolfman 2000 noting rather appropriately that it is strange to mark the macro coin as the first one, and I wonder if Typo is aware that you can use the Fire Flower to take out those particular blocks, as Beast, meanwhile, using the space physics on the boss here, which is the three little pigs. And after some stomps, is able to take the pigs out. So Beast is going to be first on the board with the traditionally first coin here. And that's going to be coming a little over a minute after at 8 minutes and 52 seconds. So Typo making it on through and is at the edge of the board that was holding him behind, and is going to opt for the Fire Flower, and now heads on to the first split zone. And we have Star Song action. Apparently not Typo's flavor. So now quickly heading through, and Typo now halfway through as Beast heading back on into Tree Zone. At least Tree Zone 2, and is now going to take the lower path. And that's going to get him up to Space Zone. And Typo taking the lower path that also is not ideal. And a quick reset from Typo, as now the first Space Zone level is the traditional Hippo Zone. And that means one more bout of Star Song. With a little invincibility interruption. So Typo heading along here is going to have to try to find a carrot somewhere along the way to be able to take that upper path. Meanwhile, Beast in the water and Typo taking a death. And Beast, meanwhile, up and out of the water. It looks like there were moon physics on there, and takes the lower exit, and that is the correct one. So quickly on to the boss now, Mario Zone 4, and Typo opting to head on in and use some of those coins to get a power-up. So we're going to see the Showcase Showdown wheel, which brings about a carrot. Meanwhile, back in and quickly to the boss is Beast, and it is the Witch. As Typo now heading to the correct area there. And is going to head on over to the right, and is going to opt to go through Macro Zone 2. As Beast takes out the Witch, so that'll be coin number 2 for him in a matter of moments. The Space Zone coin coming here at 12 minutes and 30 seconds. So now back down we go and into Macro Zone. So the brief lead that Typo had now kind of quickly falling behind here, thanks to some untimely power-ups. So now we'll see here if Beast decides to go high or low. Now we saw from Not Typo that going in a upward direction is going to be the way to go, although it does take a little bit more time. And now here in Space Zone 2, the final Tree Zone boss is Typo. So there is a little bit of, well, more than a little bit of auto-scrolling action, and Beast is going to go low. And that is going to be the less than ideal option, as that means it'll be an additional zones level that Beast will have to go through. So first off, we've got Mario Zone 1. Although helpful in this case is it looks like jumping a little bit higher than usual. So these are the Luigi physics. A little bit different in terms of control, kind of jumping a little bit higher of a parabola than you're used to seeing. And that means now that Beast is 1 for 4 out of the first 7 split zones. Typo, meanwhile, 1 for 3. So Beast navigating up the gears, taking the drop down the left side, and is going to hit the goal. 1 more zone to go. And this is going to be Mario Zone 2. With the spiked spheres creating some potential problems, but jumping over them nicely is Beast. Opting to double back to pick up that invincibility star, which is really going to help him out here in this particular section. And just goes right over those spikes, no problems. And the star wearing off just before 1 more enemy could be killed. If you get 5 enemies during the invincibility phase, you get a 1-up, and then every subsequent enemy beyond that gives you an additional life. But Beast not concerning himself with that, and is getting through the zones level. And now up to the Macro Zone boss, which is the Turtle Zone. Meanwhile, Typo is in the Tree Zone boss, which is the Pigs, and oh, he's got the Fire Flower. This is going to make things easier. So he's going to make himself some bacon, some sausage, and some ham, and just like that, the pigs are roasted. So that will be the second coin, the Tree Zone coin, coming to Typo here at 16 minutes and 10 seconds. So Typo tying things up for the moment here, but quickly on his way is Beast. And quickly taking out Tatanga and retaking the lead back is Beast here at 16 minutes and 53 seconds. So a pretty significant lead, all things considered, for Beast at this current moment, considering that he acquired coin 3 just 43 seconds after Typo did. And now into Pumpkin Zone goes Beast. And the first board is Tree Zone 3 inside the Beehive. Typo, meanwhile, in the replacement for Hippo, the Tree Zone, and makes the correct choice after not doing so earlier. There's something to be said for remembering which is which. So now here into the Hippo Zone, which is for the first Space Zone this time around. So we'll see which exit Typo takes, as the moon physics creating for some interesting jumps that you wouldn't normally otherwise see. And now back into, no, opting not to go for the bubble is Typo. Meanwhile, Beast in the second Pumpkin Zone, another of our split zone levels. This is the 5th that Beast will be encountering. Beast will be looking for a Fire Flower to take the secret exit, as there are a couple of blocks that can be blasted away with fireballs. Yeah, there are some blocks that are able to be blasted away with fireballs and others that are not. As Typo making the correct choice right off the bat. And Beast was hoping for a Fire Flower power-up. And is still looking around for one here. But gets a money bag instead. And now at the midway point, approaching that split decision. Oh, and Typo taking a death. So back into the last Mario zone goes Typo, and perhaps to pick up that 1-up. Not a bad idea, considering only down to 2 lives at this point. And Beast ending up having to take the normal exit, which is the right decision, so lucking out and not having that Fire Flower. And now on to the second split zone level, the only zone, Pumpkin Zone, with 2 split levels in it, not counting the Hippo into Space zone, of course. And to answer the Squirrel's question, this is the first round of this season, so the Beast mode is off. So the flags that would be there, thankfully, aren't. Usually save that for the 4th and final round of the season, as Typo now is working on the Witch. And floats on over to the right side and takes out the Witch. Meanwhile, Beast taking the correct exit again, and is now on the final Pumpkin Zone, which is Pumpkin Zone 4. Meanwhile, Typo getting coin number 3 at 20 minutes and 34 seconds. So hopefully Typo can make the same decisions that Beast did to try to catch up here, as he's a few levels behind already. And don't forget to give both of our runners a follow, not_Typo and BeastFrisian, as well as we want to thank behind the scenes Wolfman2000, restreaming, tracking, and organizing and doing doggone near everything else here. And if you want to give me a follow too, you can. I'm Ferran Burgundy. And Beast has quickly taken out the Mama Bird, the boss normally of Tree Zone, but here in Pumpkin Zone. So that is going to be coin number 4 at 21 minutes and 35 seconds. And Typo now getting an invincibility star here in the Beehive. As on to Mario Zone we go, and we have Pumpkin Zone 1 to get things started. So a few bats and vampires, and taking a bit of damage there is Beast. As Typo now onto that split zone. So Typo not aware, but we are, that he is not looking for a Fire Flower here. I mean, he's looking for it, but he doesn't want it. He just doesn't know that yet. Meanwhile, 1-ups galore for Beast here. He's just beasting through these enemies. And wow, how many lives did he get there? It looked like close to a dozen the way he was just tearing through them. Now, the lives are an important factor. If you do not soft reset, which means hitting Start, Select A and B at the same time, if you do not do that on your last life, if you're down to no lives, well, you lose a little more than a little bit of progress, as the levels that you've completed are still available, but you lose all acquired golden coins that you had gotten along the way and have to redo those boards. So it's one of those mistakes that if you don't pay attention to it, it can almost double your race time. Maybe a slight exaggeration, but it can certainly add, depending on how many zones you have to rerun through, at least another 5 minutes or so to your particular seed. So Beast now quickly getting through the traditional start zone here. And is on to the mole. Yes, the miscellaneous overworld level. And it's an auto-scroller. So lots of Goombas and Paragoombas and auto-scrolling and the occasional power-up. Including a 1-up there, just what Beast needed. When you have 22, why not get a 23rd? And Typo, meanwhile, is able to get a couple of much-needed 1-ups, actually a trifecta of them here. And yes, we did go from house to mole. And look at that, Typo going 2 for 2 as well. So Typo able to maintain ground as Beast just kind of floating and hugging the right side, figuring that an enemy's not going to be high enough to be able to do any damage. And is through the auto-scroller, and now is going to take on the final zone here, which looks to be Tree Zone 5. And utilizing that height, not a bad thing, able to float over most of the issues here. And while Beast is working in the tree zone, Typo taking on the normal tree zone boss and quickly roasting the mama bird. And that is going to be coin number 4 for Typo. Oh, and we see that there's ice physics in Tree Zone 5, but not quite affecting Beast there, as at 2541, there is coin number 4 for Typo. So head-to-head as far as the 4th coin, a little over a 4-minute differential, as Beast is able to take out the Octopus, the boss of Mario Zone, so that'll be coin number 5 for Beast. And you see that's heading over into the tree zone since that was the board that was taken out. And here at 2608, that is coin number 5 for Beast. Meanwhile, Typo in Pumpkin Zone 1, so still trailing by a good 3 zone levels or so. As Beast heading into the final zone, the tree zone, or turtle zone, I should say, which this time around is the Space Secret Zone with Moon Physics. And Typo being a little hesitant there with the piranhas, but then taking a bit of damage anyway, as Beast now quickly tearing through the Space Secret Zone and now on the way to the final split zone level, and that is Turtle Zone 2 in its vanilla location. So 2 exits here. The closer of the 2, although certainly more challenging, is the secret exit, which is going through what is known as the Gauntlet. A special area off to the side where there is an array of enemies, which in this randomizer you don't know what they're going to be necessarily. Usually some combination of sharks and bonefish and bullet bills, as well as the spikes. And one of the spikes taking Beast out there. So this could be a chance for Typo to catch up a little bit here, as a death can certainly swing things one way or another. So Beast was looking for a power-up and is able to get through the first shark and the second. That's almost a mini gauntlet in itself right there. Ooh. As now Typo is in the auto-scroller. Beast trying again in the gauntlet. Now, the gauntlet is preferred by the runners just because it's the shorter path. Otherwise, it is a very long and winding path through the submarine to get to the standard exit. And Beast able to do so. Well, is it correct? Yes, it is. So that is going to send Beast to the final zone level here, as he rebounds nicely with his last 3 in a row in those split decisions to go 4 for 7. Typo, meanwhile, is 4 for 6. So Beast working through macro zone 4. But able to float over most of it here, and I think I saw some ice physics at the very end there, the way the pixels were moving. So we'll see if that comes into play at all here. Well, probably not, with the ability to float over top, and 3 quick hops, and that is going to be coin number 6 for Beast. At 29.50. So now Beast heading into Wario's castle, and should he be able to get through here in a pretty decent time? Might... Ooh. Yeah, Typo having a little trouble with the ice physics there. As Beast, meanwhile, in the castle here. Now, if things go swimmingly well here for Beast, might be... Oh, well, of course, as I say that, there's the commentator's curse. I was going to say is closing in on his best league time of 33.06, but now it doesn't look like that's necessarily going to happen. Hashtag blame Burgundy. So Beast heading over to the Showcase Showdown wheel and getting a carrot to get the bunny ears. Ooh, and Typo not able to stick the landing and taking a death. So the invincibility in the beginning certainly making it very easy to go on through. Ooh, and just avoiding that spiked ball there. As Typo continuing to have struggles with the new challenge of ice physics. As Beast... Oh, mistimed the fall onto the platform, and that is going to be another death. And ideally, this would be a chance for Typo to catch up, but also taking a few deaths in Tree Zone 5, and now is on his way to the final boss here, the octopus. Having to be very careful, and oh! Getting sandwiched by the octopus. So Typo going through it again. And Beast with a very well-timed set of bunny ears. And Typo having... Oh, wow, another death for Beast. And another death for Typo. It's one step forward and one step back for both runners here. As now back to the Showcase Showdown wheel goes Typo, and there is a carrot. Meanwhile, Beast opting to go in small and just utilize the invincibility star, and does so. As yes, the lengthy sliding sound of the ice physics does tend to cause a little bit of problems, as noted in chat. I have my headphones low, so I didn't really notice too much on it. And Beast able to get through the platforms. As Typo now with the bunny ears, able to float over the top, and is able to triple stomp the... Oh, and there it is, more of the ice sliding physics. I don't know if that's for swag or trolling purposes, but that notwithstanding, coin number 5 for Typo at 34.41. As Beast now heading into the upper end of the platforms and just able to float right over top of them. And has the death's time to 99. We see there's some of the ice physics on Wario's own side, or Wario's castle, I should say. And Beast timing the deaths. Once you hit 100 deaths, you automatically get an invincibility star, and Beast timing it right there for the mini bosses. And here it is on to the first of 3 phases of Wario. And Beast, after a little bit of a struggle, able to triple hop. So now the second form with the ears. And now onto the third one here, and pending a last-minute struggle, Beast is going to take this here. There's 1 hop, 2 hop, and 3 hops, and that's going to do it. Get out your GGs in chat for Beast, continuing to be the top runner in the league, and showing why here with an official SRL time of 36 minutes and 4 seconds. And now making his way through the gauntlet is Typo, and ends up going 5 for 7 on the options, but having some early struggles in Tree Zone, and strangely enough with the Tree Zone boss level with the ice physics, that is going to be the story of this. And oh! The conveyor belt going right into the spikes. And we have our victor, Beast, here in chat. Congratulations, and GG, going to 13-3 overall in league competition.
Thank you very much.
It looked like there were very few struggles along the way, except for maybe the options. But you rebounded nicely in the last 3 zones, and going 4 for 7 overall.
Yeah, I had bad luck with the exits in the beginning, but it evened out in the end.
Yeah, both you and Typo were good on Pumpkin Zone and Turtle Zone. The initial Tree Zone, that Pumpkin one, not having some of the power-ups in the appropriate time, certainly created some challenges. But ultimately, it looks like what the difference is here is Typo finishing off the rat and is going to get coin number 6 here in just over 38 minutes. But some of the issues that Typo had early on in terms of having a power-up for that Pumpkin Zone, getting the ears, that was certainly a challenge. He ended up going and finishing Macro Zone first before coming back.
Ah, I see. Well, yeah, after I got spit out by the hippo, I had the carrot and went straight back to tree, because I know I needed it there.
Yeah, so as far as overall coins, Typo, oddly enough, ended up being the first to obtain a golden coin at about a minute and change before you did. But you were able to quickly catch up, and then once you got into Space Zone, you pretty much tore through that, and pretty well caught up as that was where the struggles had occurred in Tree Zone for Typo. So Typo actually didn't get his second coin until a few seconds before you got your third.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was about maybe a little less than 45 seconds before you got your third. Typo got the Tree Zone coin. And Slash noting in chat that Typo also didn't realize that he could hold up to finish Turtle Special with Moon Gravity.
Yeah.
So yeah, having trouble in that zone with the spikes, then that lengthy jump, that certainly set him back a bit. And then from there, you were pretty much on cruise control after the little bits of hiccups in macro. Typo actually ended up taking the path that led to fewer zones, so was able to go up into Pumpkin Secret 1 and then right over to Turtle 3 to complete the macro zone. But yeah, from there you were just off to the races, just taking everything out in smooth, swift, efficient fashion. And we'll continue to have some struggles. Well, right now he's continuing to have struggles in the same place that you were with the platforms and the ice physics in Wario's castle. But the ice physics also coming into play and wreaking havoc for Typo in Tree Zone 5, the Mario boss world.
Yeah, that caught me by surprise because I had the carrot and basically just skipped over all the level. Then I lost them right at the end before the boss pipe. And almost slid off the cloud when I finally noticed the physics.
It's amazing how these physics tend to be so subtle that you don't realize them until, in a lot of cases, it's too late, and you end up having to start back at either a midpoint or all the way in the beginning, depending on the case.
Well, yeah, the ice physics are pretty sneaky because you only notice them when you want to turn around or stop running and stuff. They don't make you faster or slower walking to left and right at all.
And that was interesting, a 1-up power-up there, and Typo with only 1 life opting not to go for it. Hopefully that isn't something that comes back to bite him here, as now he is on the mini-bosses, the bouncing globes. Being extremely careful here, especially with those ice physics. Typo having a little bit of fun earlier with some lengthy skidding to the dismay of any of the viewers here with headphones.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, just holding on to a lengthy ice skid, and that ice skid sound just being rather problematic for those who are listening with headphones.
Yeah, that's right.
Almost in a hilariously trolly kind of way. Alright, and after a little bit of struggles... Oh, yeah, there you see it there. There's some of the... some of that fun skidding, and Slash noting it, he had worn headphones when doing his skidding the other day, and... Oof. Had a little trouble with it. Something that can be a little painful in the audible senses. So now here's the third and final form of Wario. The fireballs floating over with 1, 2, and 3. And Typo is going to finish here with an official SRL time of 42 minutes and 36 seconds.
Well, that was a way better castle than I had.
Huh. That was interesting.
GG, Typo.
Thanks.
Yep, Typo joining us here. Thank you, chat, for getting out your GGs. And, well, I guess we'll start with, well, there were 2 turning points in the seed. Typo, take us through what was going on in the first couple of Tree Zone levels, as that was what seemed to split things open a little bit.
Apart from the first Tree Zone, I can't even remember because it's such a mess. I was going between 3 different zones. But the first Tree Zone, I was Small Mario and trying to make that jump over the spikes, and I I swear, all you have to do is press up, and you get enough height and distance to get over those spikes. But I couldn't do it for some reason. Beast, did you get it? Did you get over those spikes as Small Mario in Tree Zone 1?
What level was it again?
It was the
Turtle Secret.
Yeah, Turtle Secret.
Oh, you have to stand on the power block and then hold up and jump right.
Yeah, I was doing exactly that, and I was not getting the jump that makes you go higher. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's so simple. Anyway, for some reason I just kept failing that, so I'm like, okay, I'll just go back and get a Fire Flower. And basically I went from Tree Zone to Macro Zone. I did some of Macro Zone, and then I think I went to... Maybe I finished Macro Zone. Yeah, I think I finished Macro Zone, went back to Tree Zone, finished Tree Zone, went over to Space Zone, and then finished that. And somewhere in between there, I went to the bonus game. Yeah, it was a mess.
Yeah, I think it was during that second attempt at Tree Zone. You were actually, Typo, the first to get a gold coin at 7 minutes and 49 seconds. Typo had gotten the Tree Zone coin about a little over a minute later. But yeah, that was where the struggles had occurred, as it had taken about 8.5 minutes for you to get that second coin. And just maybe 45 seconds after that, Beast was already finishing up Macro Zone after already having gotten Space Zone, and was just off to the races from there.
Yeah, makes sense. Also, my exit luck at the beginning wasn't too good, but then it got a lot better in the second half. Unfortunately, then came Mario Zone 4, which was the first display of ice physics in a level that I definitely don't want ice physics.
Which ended up being the Tree Zone 5, and that was very, very problematic, to say the least.
Yeah, it was kind of like a trial by fire, since I haven't done any ice physics yet, except for in the showcase. I mean, obviously there were some ice physics levels before that in this. Like, for example, I think I can't remember which ones exactly, but I know there were a few. They just didn't affect me too much until I got to Tree Zone 5, because Tree Zone 5 is all pretty precise platforming, and with ice physics, it's not fun.
Well, in taking a look at the commentator cheat sheet here, the only other zone prior to that had any ice physics was when you'd gone to the Macro Secret, which was Pumpkin Secret 1, and that was pretty much just a dead sprint for you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
And other than that, the only other ones with ice physics were the Turtle Boss Zone, which was Macro 4, and of course Wario's Castle.
Yeah, and Castle, the only thing I was worried about were the moving platforms, and obviously I took a nice spill there in my first try. But the second time it went pretty decently. It was awkward, but it went decently enough. And after that, it was fine.
Well, you had a better run at that than Beast did, as Beast, I think, had 4 attempts, four, give or take one, that ended up being an issue with those platforms.
Yeah, they are pretty tough. I imagine if you play it enough, you'll just get used to that change in physics. But it's also just the mental part of it and the nerves, because you have no experience with it, and you're in the middle of a race, and it's the last level, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna play this super cautious, but I'm gonna panic as soon as something bad happens.
Well, I think the panic also occurred on the ears of many of the listeners with some of your extended skits, Typo, on that ice physics.
Yeah, it was. I'm sure many people felt that.
Well, I had my earphones turned low just in case I could hear any production notes from our restreamer, Wolfman 2000. So it didn't necessarily affect me. And all of a sudden in chat, I just see, there goes everyone's everyone's eardrums. And I said, oh, was I a little too loud or something? Or RIP headphone user, that's what it was. And I thought I was a bit loud, but apparently it was the skidding that was the issue, that I had it turned low. So I didn't quite catch it, but apparently it caught everybody else.
Oh, so the skidding sound is actually louder than the rest of the sounds?
Evidently.
It's very high-pitched. That's probably the issue there.
Oh, I see. Okay. See, I have my volume pretty low, so I can't really hear the game much. And I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's almost akin to, if you remember the movie Dumb and Dumber, how they had the most annoying sound in the world. It's kind of something like that.
Okay. All right. I'll remember that.
If again you feel, if you intentionally feel like trolling the viewing and listening audience, or Wolfman saying maybe he's too sensitive in that department, who knows?
I am going to take full advantage of that if I have a level where I can skid through the entire thing.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, the ever masochistic oh dear likes the skidding sound.
I might like it too. I need to listen to it a bit more.
The fun advantages here of the Super Mario Land League, and make sure to give both of our runners here a follow, Beast and not underscore typo. BeastFrisian and not underscore typo. Also, thank you to Wolfman 2000 for all of the behind-the-scenes production, restreaming, tracking, audio monitoring, programming, scheduling, and just a whole bunch of other stuff here. And you can give me a follow too. I'm Ferran Burgundy, and don't forget also to give. If you want to give the game a try itself here. Best way to do that would be to get the randomizer itself at sml2r.download. You can also get more information about the league, and you can also join the Discord to have some fun chats with all the characters that are among the folks in and out of the Super Mario Land 2 Randomizer League, as they are certainly very charismatic, entertaining, and just a heck of a lot of fun. So, Beast, Typo, any final thoughts here on the seed before we just about wrap things up here?
Yeah, I can't wait to see what else Slash has ideas to add. Maybe random fire and lava on levels, so you can just kind of skid on ice into lava pits. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this evolves.
Yeah, there are a lot of there's a lot of creative ideas when it comes to Slash. That is for certain. So time will tell what is in the mix and what's on the plans coming up in the future here.